Alright, so now that we have successfully installed Composer on our machine, it's now time to install our Yii2 application. So let's go back to our Yii guide. Let's go back. And the second part is now to use Composer to create a project. So what this line here is telling you is that this will install the latest version of the Yii application template in a directory named basic. And we can choose a different directory name if we want to. So in this case, we're going to choose just this portion of the command, copy. And I have a directory in my documents called PHP, which I will be using. So changing to documents. Go ahead and paste that command here. And I want to name my project my blog. Hit enter, and once you hit enter, you will begin to download and install all the packages, all the dependencies, and all the files it needs for the project template. So I'm going to give this a minute and allow it to download, and then we'll resume once it has completed. Alright, so installation has now completed, and we can look and see that he has installed quite a few different assets and dependencies for our use. Okay, so from here we can just change into my blog, and now we can simply run Yii serve, and I'm gonna add an argument here for my port. I'm already using port 8080, so I can add this argument dash hyphen hyphen port equals 8888, and I can serve up my project on localhost with port 8888. So I can go ahead and copy this, paste it in, and there we have it. We have our Yii2 application already up and running. We have a home page. It gives us an about page, contact page, and also a login and out feature. So right now we can log out, we can go and log in, and here it tells us we can log in with either admin or demo. Alright, so admin. And now we are logged into our application, and you can see here that our session has started. Okay, so let us open up this application and take a look at what's happening in the back end. Okay, so we have opened up the project. For my IDE, I'm using PHP Storm. So we've opened up my blog, and we can just expand this folder and see everything that we have gotten. So we have our assets folder and a configuration folder where we can specify a database connection. So you see that the framework has already taken care of most of this for us. The only thing we have to specify is our database name. Like I said previously, Yii2 comes in an MVC structure. So what MVC stands for? It stands for model, view, and of course our controllers. So currently we have 3 models. Our contact form, you can see our contact form here on our contact page. So we already have a model for that contact form. We have a login form controller, and we also have a user controller. So we'll take a look at some of these later down. But for now, I want to specifically look at our site controller. All right, sorry, before these were the models we were looking at, the user model, login form model, and contact form model. We get one side controller with our application. So if we take a look inside here, we can see that we have some behaviors. What this behavior is letting us know is that only people that are logged in. Here you can specify rules such as only logged in users may be able to view a page, whether that's true or whether that's false. So we can set up our RBAC, role-based access controls, here on our page. Further down we can see some functions that are actions. One thing to note also with this framework, all of our functions are prefixed with the action keyword. So we can see that this action is simply rendering an index page, and we can find the index page down here in the site folder. So we can open that up, our index page, and you can see here we have our congratulations, you have successfully created your Yii2 application. We can see that that is on our home page. All right. Alright, so apart from that, we're going to take a look at some of this later down. We have a main file.php, and in this main file.php, what this has the header for our document. It's segmented into different sections. We have our body section that begins here. Then we have our navbar widget that begins here. So if you have to add any pages to your application, this is where you do it. You'd simply add in a label, the name of that menu command, and the URL to which it points to. And of course we have our login functionality here also. This is where the content for our page begins. So I'm just gonna make a comment here. This is where the body of our application, right here in this content section. And then of course this is the footer of our application. So we can change this from my company to my blog. We can save it, and when we refresh it, we can see that this has changed to my blog. Also, this comment showed up here. Let's change that. Let's see. Where did I put that? This would actually have to be commented out as HTML. So let me put my HTML comment in here, right? So you can see that this document is actually HTML and PHP all in one. Okay, so in order to change the title up here, you have to add an argument to the config file of the application. So where you can find that actually is in the config folder and in web.php. Here you have the ID of the application. So the application is the basic app. All right, even though we changed the name to my blog, here we can add a name argument, and we can simply specify the name. Let's change it to my blog. You want to add a comma after that, save it, come back and refresh, and you can see that the name has changed to my blog and that comment has disappeared. Right, so the final thing we'll be doing in this lecture, we're going to quickly set up a database and a table and add some data to that table and connect that database to our application so that we can communicate with it. All right, so the first thing we need to do is open up our db.php file. And even before we get to that, we would need to actually create the database, right? So let's go to our localhost dashboard and click on PHP My Admin, and we want to create a database called My Blog to match with our application. So we can come in here, click New. You want to say My Blog, and I usually select UTF-8 bin. Let's create that. And we're going to use this SQL script from this blog, from this website, Code with AWA, and it's entitled How to Create a Blog in PHP and MySQL Database. So we're going to use this script to create this post table. All right, so it has an ID, user ID, title, and we're going to add this to our database. So first off, we have to create our users table. Let's copy this and come over here to our database. Let's click on SQL so we can just paste this raw SQL in here. Do a Control V. Go. All right, so we've created our users table. Now to create our hosts table. Copy. SQL. Now I will not be using all of these fields for this example, so I'm going to make it a little bit more simple. I'm going to remove a couple of these fields here. So we just want the body. We don't want to view any slug views our image. So we really just want the title and the body. Okay. So let's click go. That has been successfully created. Now we need to add a user. Let's copy this. Control V, and I'll change this information. And let's make their role author, and we can leave the other fields as is. Okay, so let's add that user. And now finally let's insert some posts. So let's copy that. SQL. Now remember, we had removed some of the fields from our posts table, so we only have title and body, and we should get rid of the rest of fields. So we're going to remove titles, slug and views. Also image and published. Okay, so this is our ID, user ID. This is our body. This would have been our slug, picture, and views. And we do the same for this one. So this would be the slug, picture, and views. This is the body of the second post. Okay, so now we can insert these records. And we have an error. Let's see what this error is saying. Okay, so it's saying column count doesn't match. Okay, I think I see what's happening. I remove the title field, so we need that. So let's put that back in. So this is title. So it's going to be backtick, title. Come on. Now let's try it. Let's see what it's saying. Okay, so we still have an extra column. Okay, so I believe this is what's causing the problem, this extra field here. So let's remove that. Remove this. All right, so we should have ID, user ID, title, body, created that and updated that. I believe we're good now. So we can go. All right, so now those records have now been added to our database. So let's now connect our application to our database. So the name of the database is my blog. And it's as simple as that. If we save this file, our database is now connected to our application. My username is root, and my database is not currently password protected. You can leave it like this if you're developing on your personal machine. However, if you are developing for any type of business or enterprise level application, you want to consider putting a password on your database. All right, so that part of it is done. So we can go ahead and close db.php. Now, what we need to communicate with the database is a model file. So if we come back here on the guide and come down to this section, working with databases, we're going to connect using active record. So with active record, we declare a namespace at models because we're going to be working out of our models folder. We're going to use EDB active record, and we're going to specify our table name and have it return that table name. So let's create a model file for our posts folder. So let's come back to our project in our controller, in our models folder. We want to create a new PHP file, and we want to call this post. All right, so we have the models namespace, and we also want to use EDB active record. So let's go ahead and say use EDB active record. Go ahead and hit enter. All right, and now we want to specify the name of our table. All right, so that's just a simple function. So we can say public static function table name and specify the name of the table. And we're going to return, and let's just confirm the name of our table is posts. So we're going to return posts. And that's it. That should basically connect this post class to your database model. Okay, so now that we have this active record file set up, we can try to grab some of that data from the database and just display it. So that's the final thing we'll do. So let's come over here in our site controller, and in order to get these records from the database, we're going to use the syntax that comes along with the Yii2 framework. So we're going to create a variable. So first, let us create a variable to store posts data. So we're going to say post equals our post model. Now we're going to find all. And that should grab all the tables, all the different rows in our post table. So one way to confirm that we're getting back that data from the table, we can do a simple print R and on our post variable. Oh, sorry, I messed that all up. And then we can just simply exit the application. So let us save this and let's come back to our application and let's refresh it. And it's saying call to undefined method app models post find. Oh, all right. So we need to include this model inside our site controller. And the way to do that is to include okay, we wanted to add app models post, but that's already included in our file. All right, so usually I like to pluralize the variable when we're looking for the value from a model. So usually the model name is singular, and when you're working with any variable, of course we're going to be getting back multiple records from the database. So it's usually pluralized. So let's see, let's go back. Okay. So let's check here. Oh, and one thing I'm missing, we forgot to extend this file with active record. So post extends active record is what we should have had in our file. All right, so now that we have extended active record, we can see that this use statement has now become active. So we want to save our project and we want to come back here. And once we refresh our project, we should get back this array, meaning that this is the data that we're getting back from the database. So if you can look closely, you can see that we have our user ID, the title of that record, habits that can improve your life, and it matches up. And if you want to make this look a little bit better, let's come back here to the site controller. We can wrap this inside echo pre-statements. So we can go ahead and do echo pre. And close it off here. Let's save it, come back, and once we refresh this, you can see we get back a nicer, more human readable format. So this is our first record, ID 1, our title, our body, created at, updated at, our second record, right here, second post, and this is the body of the second post. All right, so that concludes lecture 1 of learning Yii. I hope this was informative, and look out for that second video. Thanks, and see you then.